Ahoy everybody! Thank you for tuning into Airborne Entrepreneur. Hello. Thank you for tuning into my podcast. And today's episode is going to be a little bit practical for leaders and managers or supervisors. It will be something that if you are seeking a change, or you really want to create a little bit better team environment, or you want to help people to feel better, or you want to improve, performance, let's say, or productivity, or you just want to really remove some negative energy and some negative behaviors, and you really don't know where to start. That means today we'll be giving you actually practical tools, because by now we are blaming leaders, we are blaming managers, we are blaming all the time leadership that's their fault, that everybody is leaving their jobs, and it is toxic culture. And yes, of course, okay, it is toxic culture almost everywhere, we know that. But how we can change that if we will just stay blaming and stay in that, below the line thinking that I already explained probably in a few podcasts before this one, that if we are blaming and don't taking responsibility, we will stay where we are at and nothing is going to change or nothing is going to be better. That means today I decided to take responsibility and actually start to giving you a lot of different tools, different practical stuff that you can really use. And we are not going to talk about theory, how that should be beautiful and amazing, or how, the great culture looks like, because we know how that looks like. The culture that is great, we know, we feel great, we feel awesome, we like to go to work. I don't think we need to talk about that more. We need to talk about the tools that you can use to create that change. And that was major reason that I decided to do that, a little bit of practical today. And I will talk about behaviors, and I will talk about a little bit practical tools, because behaviors creates habits and rituals, we know that. And if those behaviors were not very resourceful or healthy, they created probably very bad, maybe unproductive habits, and they're really not very efficient, and probably they're not even nice. Maybe that's something in social behavior, or from social perspective that we need to change, or maybe from performance perspective. But that's why we want to use some practical tools that can help us to go out of that spiral of low performance, low engagement, or people leaving their jobs, or really low well-being. What we're going to do today, we're going to actually talk about those rituals and behaviors that can cause it, but more how we can actually change them and how we can notice them and what is the trigger or reason for them to happen. Let's talk about behaviors and some great techniques or tactics how to change it, and that will be micro-habits and crucial moments today. Cool. Okay, let's go deeper. That means what we know how the environment changed is that we are solving more complicated, complex problems. It's not anymore just, 1 + 1 = 2, but it's more about complications like, okay, I have in the team person with ADHD, I have person with a really high dominant energy, and also person that likes to be, alone and is very introvert and really doesn't like the noise. Now, how am I going to make these people work on one project in flow, in balance, and make them happy actually while they're working together, because they're so different? And I need to learn how to handle different behaviors as a leader, how to actually help them to understand they are different, and how or what tools can help them to work together. This is why all behaviors are very important in leadership and understanding people on deeper level. And I talk about that a lot in also past podcasts, but also in my articles. Everywhere I'm talking about behaviors and thinking how that is important. And please, all leaders, if you are still going for management courses, that's fine, do it. Of course, project management and management courses are important, but they're not important from perspective of how to take care of people. That means how to actually really lead people. And we know leadership is about leading people and facilitating that great collaboration and helping people to grow and thrive and created space where they can contribute and feeling safe. That means please start to focus on really important stuff, and we do this in my Leadership 6.0 program and methodology that I developed, because this was the gap we found with a lot of courses and programs, that they're not focused on thinking how our brain works, how we can actually de-stress, how we can actually manage ourselves better from perspective of leading, not just managing the time, but leading ourselves in a peaceful, loving space where we can actually give our employees or team members the most out of us and teach them the same thing, teach them to be actually loving and sharing and collaborating and really facilitate this kind of environment. And that is not going to happen without understanding people. And I have to say that if you are a leader that doesn't want to work with people or doesn't want to understand people on deeper level, it's going to be really painful leadership journey. Please just learn something today. If you like it, take it away and use it. If you don't like it, it's fine. Find different tools and different maybe coaches or consultants or different people that can help you. But this is something that really helped me and helped a lot of organization and teams to change and start within the team, because most of the time we don't have impact on, like especially in 1,000, 2,000 or 5,000 employee organization, we really don't have access to change straight away the leadership and executive team and start to implement change slowly from the top to bottom. That means what we can do, we can actually change the one team. We can change that one small team and show people the results from that small team environment and how they increase performance and productivity and collaboration. And actually after that, ask other teams to implement the change. And that's why micro habits are really, really important, because you can implement it in that kind of environment where it's really bad traditional system that is really hierarchy oriented and you can't really do anything within your team. That means this is something you can do and there are no boundaries. You can have fun with this, right? That means, okay, we talk about complicated problems, why we need to know and understand behaviors and thinking. But now we are coming to that most important part, how we actually do it, right? And there are so many different behaviors, and I can give you examples while I will go through the steps how to recognize those patterns. I will try to give you a little bit of contrast and stories, but let's talk about that. How? Okay, behaviors. That means we know behaviors is already action we do. We do something, we behave somehow. And the first step we need to recognize, we need to understand is actually trigger or stimulus, and that's actually the thought. That means every time we do something, before that action was a thought. And this thinking is creating our behavior. It's creating what we feel, how we feel, what we do. The trigger is the first step. The trigger is basically to recognize when I do something or when I do produce this unwanted behavior or action, what was that trigger? What was the thought that just came to my mind? What happened that time in my head when I actually started to produce this unwanted behavior? And in that moment, we can recognize what happened. That means we can write down the trigger. Then maybe I can give you an example. I had a team where the team leader came to us or came to the major leader and say, I just can't deal with this person. I'm done. She's not respecting me. She doesn't respect anything what I said. She doesn't respect me. She doesn't want to work here. She hates me. I don't know how to make her to do something. I don't think she wants to be here. And he basically said that, and he wanted to fire her or terminate her. And that's fine. But that person was before high performer. And we kind of suggested okay, let's have a look what we can do differently and maybe talk to her. And basically we talked to the person, and the person was having some personal issues. With these personal issues, she was overcoming a little trauma that she just basically was part of a few weeks ago. And that actually changed totally her conditioning or her behavior, and she wasn't interested in work because she didn't do the groundwork of her healing or talking to someone, and she was really confused. And what I mean by trigger here is that the person that said that she doesn't respect me, she doesn't want to be here, she's she doesn't want to work with me and all this stuff that the person said. It was really personalizing that actually the issue that was actually there as a conflict. And that's the first thing, that please don't take things personally, because it's not about you. I mean, that was the first kind of problem that this person kind of showcased, that was not actually personal. And it's never really about us, right? When someone else has problems. That means we need to find out why is that happening. But what was also driver or trigger for this person was that the performance was going down. And this person was coming from a perspective of self-doubt and fear, because this person was thinking, I don't have any idea how to deal with this. Like, this is different behavior. I didn't expect that. And also is, basically triggering this kind of fear of losing the position or being not able to coordinate the team and make them actually work together. That means those kind of all self-doubts are triggering this kind of emotion, like, let's get rid of the person, right? That was the first thing, that it was comfortable, fast, and he knows how to do it. And this happens a lot of time. But instead, we basically teach the person to go deeper into understanding what was the trigger thought. And he actually admitted, he said, yeah, actually, I was scared. Because if this will continue, I will lose totally respect and trust, and this person will do whatever she wants. And it was basically coming from the fear. I mean, it's that trigger and that thought and the behavior he basically showcased or produced from that fear wasn't really productive, because we know if you terminate someone, we need to hire someone, train someone, it costs us $45,000 and more. Some organizations coming up to $200,000 for with training and helping new people to learn new skills. And it's really, really expensive. All onboarding process is really expensive for some companies, for some a little bit less, but still is a lot of money. We really realized that was not productive behavior. And this behavior probably is not going to cause us, a lot of great results. But what happened, the routine is the second step. That means we realized the routine from the trigger thought when he said, okay, we need to terminate her. That was the routine. He came up basically with the idea, get rid of someone. That means that kind of behavior wasn't productive, and it's not going to be effective long-term run. We need to change that, because basically what will happen as a routine, when there is a problem, we need to terminate someone, but that's not solution. That means we realize what is the trigger, what is the routine, and the third step was basically reward. And we say, okay, what is the reward? How do you feel? Like, we will terminate the person. And he basically said, I will be relieved, I don't need to deal with that. The reward will be, avoid the conflict and actually feel comfortable, feel relieved, because he can have new person that will come on board, and absolutely straight away that person will respect the boss or team leader, because it will be new person. And usually when you're starting new work, you're quite, submissive and you're quite trying to learn, that means you're quieter, and before you find yourself in that place comfortable, you still kind of in that learning mode that you really highly respect everyone around you, because you are the new person, right? That means from that perspective, that will be very comfortable for the boss or team leader. And this kind of discovery how behaviors happens, that is going through trigger, routine, and reward, is very important, because when we find out what was happening, now we can change it, and we can take it to conscious, not subconscious, but conscious change. We can start to think, okay, what can I think instead? That means I don't need to come from fear or doubts, this person doesn't respect me, but I can think instead, okay, this person is not performing, how can I help her? What can I ask her? What can I do for her to be sure that she actually can be herself again? That means that's the first trigger. Now, the routine will be probably going to talk to her, and that will be great behavior, because we want to have open conversation. That means learning how to question and listen will be very important part of this routine. That means now when we're going to talk, that means we change the behavior, we change the thought, and now we're going to have a reward, because this person probably maybe will cry, maybe will just give us all the information, because we know how to talk to this person, and will tell us why actually she can't do it, and we will be maybe saying, maybe you can have 2 weeks off and really go through, personal stuff stuff and resolve it for yourself. Or we can help you if you want to stay in work because you think that will be better for you emotionally. Let's work together a little bit different way, or let's work in pairs, or let's help you. And it will be probably just very short time that you need to help this person, but it will cost you probably less than hire a new one and train and go through onboarding process with the new person. Now we solve it and we have reward. We feel actually really, really pumped because we actually were able to contribute and help. That means now you as a leader feel so much better. Your dopamine is high and you have such a massive reward because you help someone. And that's the best you can do. Probably the highest level of self-confidence and self-worth will come, because this is like the contribution is the most important part of our personal journey. And now I will add from conscious perspective, please add celebration and celebrate this moment. But I'm not talking about celebrating and going out for drinks, okay? I'm talking about maybe create some kind of small reward for yourself or just really acknowledge yourself. Really go through all process and think about that. Wow, like I did much better. Like this was really resourceful. This was really productive behavior. And I have really good results. Employee will feel like she's heard, she was seen, she was understood. Somebody noticed that something is not okay with her and she just wanted someone to notice, trust me. That means all what you can do, you can just say, okay, I would like to acknowledge myself because this was real leadership behavior. This was real, conflict resolution from higher level of leadership. And trust me, sometimes people really just want to be noticed. And I would like to say, if you can change these triggers and thoughts and change behavior and routine, you will have absolutely amazing rewards and absolutely amazing change in yourself, but also you can teach these to your team members. And if you want to be a great leader that understands people on a deeper level, and instead of terminating, instead of, reacting, you really can resolve all problems and you can have really high performance in your team. That means if you really want to build it up from perspective of making people feel better and create a high well-being and psychological safety, please shoot me a message and book the session. It will be awesome to have you. And trust me, if you only think about that, I'm sure you are the right person to become the part of our amazing group of leaders and start your journey of change. I can't wait to see you, and I believe I will talk to you very shortly. Have a beautiful day.